Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome to our first episode of WWF Attitude Era's Raw is War on our 2K16 Universe mode. As you can see there, our first pay-per-view will be next Sunday. That's going to be Backlash, and we only have 2 weeks to build up to that, so we're going to see quite a few number one contendership matches over the next couple of weeks. So let's have a quick look at what we've got on the card for you this evening. We're actually going to start things off with a hardcore championship match as the Sandman defends against Tommy Dreamer, Tazz and Sabu. Then we'll see a match that doesn't really mean anything. I'm a real big fan of Shane McMahon. I think he was an absolutely fantastic wrestler, and I just want to see him in a match here this evening straight away off. It's Extreme Rules against Savio Vega. The reason I picked Savio Vega is because Shane McMahon's only rated an 83, and I didn't want him to get absolutely hammered by someone, so I had to pick somebody who was a bit weaker than him. So that's why Savio Vega's involved. Our next match is just going to be a match between two big heavyweights, really. I'm going to see Psycho Sid taking on Kevin Nash. Then we're going to have our first number one contendership match of the evening as the Dudley Boyz take on the Hardy Boyz for the right to face off against the world's greatest tag team next Sunday at Backlash. We're going to see William Regal defend his European Championship against Eddie Guerrero. That's down to the glitch that happened at the European Championship tournament. Eddie Guerrero is getting his opportunity here this evening. We're going to see our first of the number one contendership matches as Sting faces off against The Rock for the opportunity to face off against Edge at Backlash for the World Heavyweight Championship. And our main event is going to be a fatal four-way match. It's going to be The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Goldberg. The winner of this match will go on to face off against Batista at Backlash for the WWE Championship next Sunday. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first match of the evening. And like I said, our first match is going to be the Sandman defending his Hardcore Championship against Tazz, Tommy Dreamer and Sabu. And here we go, live from Houston, Texas. Of course, because this is a championship match, we will get all of the entrances. And that's the sort of way we're going to go ahead with this universe mode. Entrances, well, the Sandman has a different entrance. It's actually a different Sandman core as well. You may have noticed the one that we used for the actual match has been replaced by this one. As you can see, he's got a much better entrance now. I'm not quite sure why the other Sandman had the entrance from the ramp. It doesn't really suit him, so this one does really. Coming through the crowd as he did in ECW. All we're missing out is a bit of Metallica now to get the whole show going. What a fantastic... I used to love the Sandman. He was a real, just absolute hero when I was young. Of course, when ECW was around, I must have only been early to mid-teens. So me and my mates were watching ECW and we were absolutely... Sandman was just an absolute legend. He was just someone that seemed so cool at the time. When you look back on it, you realise that he wasn't necessarily a very good wrestler, but at the same time, what he lacked in actual wrestling ability, he really made up for in just presence in the ring, and he just, no matter what, just was over all the time. And here comes Tommy Dreamer, probably one of the biggest icons from ECW, and now, of course, the owner of House of Hardcore. The attire looks pretty good. I'm just not 100% on the face, but there you go. I don't mean that as an insult to Tommy Dreamer. I mean this great wrestler. And of course, this is the first time we're seeing Tommy Dreamer in this universe mode. We didn't see him in any of the championship tournaments either. And it's going to be the first time we see Tazz as well. We didn't see him in any of the championship tournaments. It's going to be great to see that. You know, it'd be really good, that thing they could do next year on 2K16 is, you know, 2K17 it'll be next year, won't it? You know when they have the shirts in the crowd of certain wrestlers? Would it be good? Because obviously, when you create a wrestler, you can change what signs they use. Would it be good if you could change what shirts they wore? You could say like, "This is the Tommy Dreamer shirt," and then when the match happens, like you can see a few people in the front row wearing Tommy Dreamer shirts. That'd be pretty cool. That would. And this entrance for Tazz is absolutely spot on. I think he's got a good face as well, Tazz. He looks the part a lot better than our Tazz last year. I want to try and use this Tazz a bit more as well. He's a top class wrestler, was Tazz, one of my favourites. As we see our three-man commentary team. There you go, there's Tazz without his towel on. Does look pretty damn good. He's getting the opportunity here this evening to win himself some gold. Like I said, the first time I've seen him so far in this universe mode. And here comes the homicidal, the genocidal, the suicidal Sabu. This hardcore division is made for someone like Sabu. And I think if Sabu can get hold of the championship, then I really think that's going to be... he's going to hold that belt for a long time. Like I said, the hardcore championship is probably one that we will see defended quite a lot. It was a championship in the Attitude Era that's changed hands quite often. So I don't see why we should make it any different. It might be defended maybe 2 or 3 times in between pay-per-views maybe. That's the sort of thing that we're looking at. As Sabu just randomly shouting at blonde people in the front row. And Tazz has made his way up there as well. Sabu's staring down all of his 4 opponents here this evening. Of course, they know what they're fighting for. They're all looking to get their hands on the Hardcore Championship. The referee holds that belt up high. Can the Sandman successfully retain his Hardcore Championship? Or will the likes of Tommy Dreamer, Tazz, or Sabu take it from him? And here we go. The bell goes. And like I said, I quite like the way that Fatal 4-Way matches work on this game now. You will see very, very soon that 2 guys will split off and go outside the ring. And 2 will stay inside the ring as well. See, I really do miss the... the match rules screen where you could change all the rules of the matches, because I know you can do a Falls Count Anywhere match and it does sort of half work, but at the same time, although they Falls Count Anywhere, they don't use weapons as often. If you do an Extreme Rules match like this one, then you do get a lot more chances of the belt changing, of people actually using weapons. As we see here as Tazz straight to the outside, under the ring. What's he looking for? And I like the way they've got rid of the wheel now as well. That's one thing that always used to annoy me, the wheel in AI versus AI matches. I don't want to know what weapon they're going to pull out. Great move there by Sabu. I'm not quite sure that worked how he wanted to. Especially when Tommy Dreamer threw a ladder in front of Sabu when he was crashing down. And I'm hoping as well, something that I said about last year on 2K15 quite a lot, and it looks like Tommy Dreamer might be trying to prove me... No, maybe not. I was going to say, I get frustrated with 2K15 when people brought tables out and they, instead of use them as a table, they used them as like a blunt weapon. And I'm hoping this year that now that table's been set up in the corner, is Sabu going to try and put Tazz through that table, or is he going to pick that table up and swing it at Tazz? That's the one thing that I'm really interested to see, because I'm really looking forward to seeing if that does work. Sabu with a Hurricane Rana on Tazz. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. That could have been a very early change of champion there in this match. And remember, this is only the first championship match we've got here this evening. Remember, William Regal will be defending his European Championship against Eddie Guerrero later on this evening. As there you go, I was correct. Tazz was thrown into that table and the Sandman put Tazz through. So it looks like this year they are actually going to use the tables as proper tables. Excellent. That is a lot better. I'm really happy about that. So I think what 2K have done is they've definitely improved a lot of the in-match stuff, a lot of the AI, a lot of the actual match quality as well. But at the same time, they've sort of left a few things that really needed to be looked at. And although they've improved I think they've improved the AI everywhere apart from in the tag team matches. The tag team matches are still, for me, are a little bit dodgy. As Tazz in with a pin on Sandman. Tazz nearly picked up the Hardcore Championship there. Tommy Dreamer sending Sabu over that top rope. Tazz thrown into that corner by Sandman now. Sandman taking Tazz up onto the top. What's he looking for now? Oh, Tazz with that boot to the face, knocking Sandman away, creating a bit of space. Oh, but Sandman catches Tazz with that big clothesline. Yeah, I'm much happier with the Sandman. I think it looks better than the one we had before. The one we had before was okay, but I think this is definitely better. And again, Sandman taking Tazz up onto that corner as Sabu's just trying to run into that barricade for some reason. Sandman brings Tazz out of the corner into that stunner. Brings Tazz back up to his feet. And Sandman's looking pretty good now, actually. He was struggling earlier on in the match, but seems to be doing very well against Tazz now. Looks like he's going to try and take him up again onto the top turnbuckle. Tommy Dreamer pulled a chair out as that table there just completely disappeared out of nowhere. Another stunner from the corner by Sandman. And is he going to capitalise? Is he going to go for the pin here? Or is he just going to stand hands on hips? Hands on hips by the looks of it. Oh, but he's stalking Tazz as Sabu brings out another table and does swing it. Russian leg sweep by the Sandman. Of course, he likes to do that with the kendo stick. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. Oh, it's a kick out by Tazz. Sandman thought he had a successful championship defense there. Big backdrop on Sabu, and Sabu's head landed on the back of that table. As all four of these guys back into the ring now. Sandman sends Tazz over the top, and it's now Tommy Dreamer and Sabu in the middle of the ring. Is this going to be... Ooh. Tommy Dreamer went for a backdrop on Sandman, and Sandman reversed it just into us almost like a crossbody, then brought Tommy Dreamer down hard. And there's a big knee to the face by Sandman. Tommy Dreamer's been busted open, and that's what we like to see in these hardcore championship matches. Probably ECW crowd chanting, "We want blood," and all that sort of stuff. Owens throwing Sandman into the corner. Owens? Did I just call him Owens? I did, didn't I? Sorry, I had Kevin Owens on the mind there for a split second. But Tommy Dreamer just dropping Sandman against that middle turnbuckle. Tazz slides back into the ring. Dreamer with that back elbow. Now Tazz swinging that table, and maybe they are going to use it as a blunt weapon, but is he going to put it in the corner? No, he ejects it out the ring. Well, Sandman straight across, gets caught by a clothesline by Sabu. Tazz throwing Sabu into that turnbuckle. Sabu fights out though, and Sabu gets caught in the belly-to-belly suplex as Sandman building up a head of steam here. In goes Dreamer into the corner. And this is what I'm saying, the AI is not perfect, as you can see there by Sandman, who was trying to grab Tommy Dreamer while he was about 20 feet away. Dreamer just ejecting Sandman from the ring. Sabu and Tazz in the ring now, and this was a great feud back in ECW with Sabu and Tazz. They had some fantastic matches. As you see, Dreamer again just walking. So there are a few issues with this game. There really is, that need to be ironed out. Sabu with that big leg drop across the back of the head of Tazz. Tommy Dreamer and Sandman doesn't even know what's going on the outside. And we have a brand new hardcore champion here for you this evening. It's going to be Sabu. And here we have the reign of Sabu. Like I said, Sabu is a man who can really dominate this hardcore division. Once he gets a hold of this belt, I think well, the rest of the division are in serious trouble. Getting that belt off Sabu is not going to be easy. And a chance earlier on that was only a 2 count. You see Tazz with that knee to the face of Sandman, and then pump handle suplex into the broken shards of the table that Sandman had already gone through. That was only a 2 count though. Sandman here thought he might have had it when he went for the Russian leg sweep on Tazz. Of course, normally he likes to do this with the kendo stick, but he did it normally, and again, it just was not enough to get in the 3 count at that point in time. It was only a 2. Sabu nearly got there in time anyway. And this is the big move that finished it all off. You see the big leg drop to the back of the head of Tazz, crushing him face first into the mat. Sabu rolls him over. Sandman and Tommy Dreamer distracted on the outside. Sabu gets the 1, the 2, and the 3 count over Tazz. So in our very first match of this Attitude Era Universe mode, we have a brand new champion already. It's Sabu, your hardcore champion. Of course, he will defend it again very, very soon. Maybe at Backlash. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I would assume probably at Backlash. Great win for Sabu. I'm sure Sandman will be really wanting a rematch, though. I'm sure we'll get that in the next few weeks. And our second match is the match that I really wanted to see, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. It's Shane McMahon versus Savio Vega in an Extreme Rules match. And here we go. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Dollar, dollar. I used to love Shane McMahon. I don't think Shane ever put on a bad match. He was just amazing every single time. One of my favourite ones, I think, had to be the one against Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. That was just an incredible match. Really just showed just how amazing he was. Because there was just nothing, no matches that he's ever been involved in was ever bad. It was always fantastic, and I don't know if that's to do with the fact that every single match he was involved with was always just full of spots or something like that. But yeah, I really like him. If you look back at the matches he had against Kurt Angle at SummerSlam, again another fantastic match. He had the match at match against Steve Blackman, was it? Where he went straight off the not the barricade, but he came straight off the top, off the off like the scaffolding and crashed down. Again, that was just incredible. Yeah, but the match at WrestleMania against Vince it had some fantastic wrestling ability in it, but I think one of the main things that people seem to not realise is just the fantastic storytelling by himself, and of course his father Vince as well. I think Stephanie was at ringside for a bit as well, so it was an absolutely incredible match. It was probably one of the best pay-per-views actually that I've ever seen. I still think it probably is. I think on that pay-per-view card you had the match between Vince and Shane. You had the match between Austin and McMahon. No, sorry, Austin and The Rock. You had Triple H versus The Undertaker, where Undertaker chokeslammed Triple H from like a camera vantage point down through some sort of tables or something along them lines. It was also the same pay-per-view where I think you had Raven versus Kane versus the Big Show for the Hardcore Championship, and I think Raven got put through the stage and all that sort of stuff. It was an amazing pay-per-view. I got a feeling it was either 17, 18, 19, it could have been 21 actually. It was in that sort of era. It was the early 2000s, I believe. It was absolutely fantastic, and like I said, I was so excited when I saw that Shane McMahon was going to be on this game. I had no weapons as of yet, but Shane with a pin. 2. We're not going to use Shane McMahon as a wrestler normally, don't get me wrong. This is just a special episode, so we're going to have some special things going on here, but I think in the future we are going to have him involved in storylines, I'm thinking. I think mainly at the moment, of course, we have the corporation. We've got Vince, we've got Shane, we've got Paul White, and we've got Ken Shamrock all together as a group at the moment. I think what they need is a major top name to join that corporation, just to be their face to go out for the championship. And then I think in the long run, what I would like to do is maybe split Shane off, create Shane's own sort of stable, and then sort of culminate in Vince versus Shane at WrestleMania. That's what I want to try and do. But like I said, at the moment, Vince and Shane are both part of the corporation alongside Paul White and Ken Shamrock. So yeah, like I said, I want to try and just have somebody that might join the corporation, become their big face. We maybe could use Paul White. I'm not really a big fan of having the Big Show as a world champion, though. We do have quite a lot of people that we could use. I don't really want to use Triple H as part of DX, Shawn Michaels part of DX, The Rock part of Nation of Domination. We could use Austin. Of course, Kevin Nash is going to be part of the Outsiders once we get Sting. No, Sting probably wouldn't work. Sting's very anti-authority, isn't he? I'm sure there's probably someone we can find that we can align with the corporation. trying to think now what we could do. And again, I want to try and keep it as a surprise. Maybe we could have it as a main event for the main event for our pay-per-view. Either Vince or Shane comes out and helps somebody win the championship, and there you go. We have a brand new champion crown. Somebody's aligned alongside the corporation. That's something we can have a look at doing in the future. It probably won't happen at Backlash because I really want to sort of build up that storyline. Savio Vega a little bit better. Remember, this is an Extreme Rules match, so they can use weapons if they wish. Nobody has as of yet. Savio Vega going up high. And of course, Savio Vega will be part of our Cruiserweight division as well. Of course, our Cruiserweight champion, Jushin Thunder Liger, will be defending his belt at Backlash, I should imagine. Not quite sure who against yet. You know, I really want to do... I don't know why, but for some reason, I've really got in my mind that I want to do a Fatal 4-Way ladder match for that. So maybe we can do something along them sort of lines. Of course, we've got Rey Mysterio. We've got Eddie Guerrero. We've got Tajiri as well we could use. Who else we got? I can't remember who else actually counts as a cruiserweight now in this game. I've got La Parka as well. One feud that I definitely want to do in the Attitude Era is going to be Sting versus Vampiro. That is one that I really liked. I don't know what... I was very young when I watched that one, I think. But that was a really good one. Who we got? Dean Malenko and X-Pac as well. They're two big names in the Cruiserweight division. Dean Malenko is someone that I'd like to get hold of that championship belt and really run with it. Because, like I said, he is probably one of the... there's quite a few guys on this roster that are really, really underrated. One of them is Dean Malenko. Another one, of course, is William Regal. William Regal, for me, was one of the best wrestlers... of the Attitude Era, but he never really got the full attention he deserved. Of course, I believe he was actually sacked from WCW for a match against Goldberg, where Goldberg was supposed to be on this mega monster run of victories, and Regal just went in there and out-wrestled him. Vega with a pin on Shane McMahon. It's only for a 2 count. Yes, I think we can do some good stuff with Shane. I think we can have a proper feud or two with Shane. He likes to get himself into trouble, to Shane. Maybe we could, towards SummerSlam, we could feud him against Kurt Angle just to recreate that match at SummerSlam. And like I said, I want to try and do Shane versus Vince at WrestleMania. We could maybe do something along the lines of with a elimination with Survivor Series. Well, maybe Survivor Series could be DX versus we could really do 2 big Survivor Series matches, but DX versus well, you got DX, you got Nation of Domination, you've got the Corporations. That's 3 big stables in this Attitude Era already. So if we can sort of think of a 4th or create a 4th, then we could easily do that. Shane McMahon taking Savio Vega up, and Shane with that big superplex to the outside. And that's what I was saying about Shane. He is absolutely crazy. As we get a "This is awesome" chant. I've not noticed many of the chants so far this year. I'm pretty sure there has been a lot more that I haven't seen or heard, shall I say. Maybe they just do the "This is awesome" chant when you do one of the OMG moments. Shane just choking out Savio Vega. Not sure what to do with Savio Vega yet. I might align him with the Nation of Domination. He was part of the Nation for a short amount of time. So maybe I could do that. Maybe I could just tweak his attire slightly and make it green and black rather than red and black, and then he can join in the Nation. Crossface chicken wing here, locked in by Savio Vega on Shane McMahon. Vega dropping down to one knee, and McMahon back in with that big boot to the stomach, and there is the snapmare. And I might just increase a couple of McMahon stats, especially the damage resistance and damage. I'm forgetting my words really. I'm forgetting all my words today. Recovery, that's word. Damage resistance and damage recovery, because he was just someone you could destroy and he'd still get back up and carry on. I mean, just look at that belly-to-belly suplex through the glass at SummerSlam by Kurt Angle. Shane was knocked out and he still got back up and continued the match on. There's the pin. 1, 2. Now it's only a 1 count there by Savio Vega. Shane avoiding the big clothesline to the back by Vega, sending Vega into the corner. What a Shane and Mac got here. I'm just cautious of the time, actually. I've just realised what time it is. And this is what he did at WrestleMania. He went coast to coast. Pappy Vince had the trash can. There you go, coast to coast by Shane McMahon. I'm loving this guy. I'm a massive Shane McMahon fan. And he picks up the victory. Great win there by Shane McMahon. Wearing a dodgy Stone Cold Steve Austin attire, but there you go. What a cocky git he is. So I miss Shane McMahon, I really do. Of course, he left wrestling to continue a life in business, but elsewhere out of wrestling. And it's such a shame because I think he was someone who really understood wrestling. I think he understood wrestling a lot more than his father does, anyway. His father just seems to be very, very out of touch with what wrestling is and what the wrestling fans want, to tell the truth. Shame with that second lot of punching combinations, and did all of that, then fell to one knee because he ran out of energy. Look like Savio Vega went for a pin after just tripping Vince McMahon over. Sorry, Shane McMahon over. And here it is. This is the big coast to coast, which finished the whole thing off. There it is. Boom. And in for the pin, Shane McMahon goes. So Shane McMahon's debut here on our Attitude Era Universe mode, and he's victorious. Like I say, we've got some plans for Shane McMahon over the next year. Want to try and have Shane versus Vince at WrestleMania maybe, and maybe Shane versus Angle at SummerSlam, but let's see how it all pans out. That's just penciled in, and things always change, don't they? And here's match number 3. It's Psycho Sid taking on Kevin Nash. And here we go. Now, I don't know why I put this match together. It's just something that I remember happening in WCW as well. I'm pretty sure they had a first finisher match, the Battle of the Jackknives, I believe it was. And that's the sort of thing I wanted to do here this evening, but then I've realised you can't anymore because, like I said earlier, they've taken away the match rules screen, and that is the way you could set up your own match with a with the rules of a finisher to finish the match. But I'm pretty sure that'll happen anyway. I think the first person to hit the jackknife powerbomb is going to come out of this one victorious. And it's great to see Psycho Sid again. It's a really good Psycho Sid core. Of course, both these guys are going to be working for the retro roster as well as Attitude here, which is going to be good to see. Of course, Kevin Nash did work the retro era under the name Diesel, as we all remember. And of course, Psycho Sid was there as well in WWF before turning across to WCW like a lot of guys did at that time. This is a very WCW based bout, and I think at some point we might see both of these guys involved in the championship picture as well. No reason why not. They're both perfectly capable. They're both big men, and it'd be nice to push a few more. Well, I suppose in the Attitude Era these were classed as WCW guys, but in the retro roster they're going to be classed as WWE guys, I should imagine. But it'd be nice to push a couple of WCW guys. Of course, both of our world championships at the moment are both held by primarily WWE. Well, they've never been in WCW, either of them. Edge, of course, is the world heavyweight champion, and we have Batista as our WWE champion. So it'd be nice to see a little bit of difference. Of course, I'm going to try and stop trying to have them sort of separate. I think we're going to let them all go at it. I don't really want to have one belt just for WCW guys and one guy for WWE guys. I want to just try and spread it all out as much as I possibly can. That's why I've got Sting versus The Rock later on. Either could win that and go through. And of course, we've also got Goldberg involved in that big fatal four-way later on as well, looking for the WWE Championship. So there is a lot going on here this evening. And by the end of it, I think we're going to know quite a few matches for our big Backlash pay-per-view as Psycho Sid with a pin, but only for a 2 count. I'm looking forward to Backlash. It's going to be our first big pay-per-view, but of course, after Backlash is when it gets even more interesting, because then we can start using our feuds here in the Universe mode. Have a little bit of an issue still. They do not allow you to use any feuds until 4 weeks before the pay-per-view, which is a little bit annoying. What I would like to do is just set up 8-week feuds all the time. That'd be pretty good. The game doesn't seem to want to let us do that. So in the other brands that are only going to have a pay-per-view every other month, we'll have to do our own manual feud to 4 weeks. Just build everything up and then use the normal feuds just to kick them in, getting towards that last few weeks before the pay-per-view. It's Kevin Nash rolling Psycho Sid over for the pin. 1, 2, no, only a 1 count on Psycho Sid. Of course, if it is Attitude Era, then Sid will be called Sid Vicious, as he was in WCW. Sid with that big move there. Grabbing the leg of Kevin Nash. Could they be victorious? 1, 2. No, Kevin Nash kicks out. Big move there. Now Sid just slowing the pace of this match down with that headlock on Kevin Nash. Nash now. There's that big power slam, and Psycho Sid's legs actually caught the top rope as well. Dangerous. In for the pin goes Nash. 1, 2. It's still only a 2 count. Nash can't believe it. Sid is still in this one. Sid with that snapmare. Now here he goes with the head scissors and now a couple of elbows as well to the face of Kevin Nash. Big moves there by Sid. And I thought he might be going for a jackknife there, but he's not. He's gone for that big spiked DDT. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. Oh, only a 2 count. How close was that to a 3? Referee's hand almost hit the mat for the third. I'm sure it did. Nash slides out from that head scissors from Sid. Snapmare of his own. Now locking in the chin lock, slowing the pace of the match down, trying to suck some of the energy out of Psycho Sid while retaining some of his own. But Sid has a hold of Kevin Nash, and there is the jawbreaker. Big right hands by Nash, and Sid goes down. There's a huge one from Nash. Sid looks to be out here. Sid slowly coming back up to his feet, using the ropes to help himself up. Sid now taking Nash up on his shoulders. And there he is with that front sort of sit-out slam. Hooks the leg of Nash. 1, 2. And that is it. Psycho Sid picks up a huge victory here against Kevin Nash. Now that's pretty good for Psycho Sid. I expected Nash to be the stronger in this match. I'm not quite sure why. I just thought that Nash had the slight advantage, and evidently I was incorrect as Psycho Sid picks up a big victory. And it seems to be that is Psycho Sid's finisher. I'm not sure if that is correct or not. You guys might be able to let me know on that one. I just thought in my mind that Psycho Sid's finisher was a jackknife powerbomb, just like Kevin Nash's. I might be wrong though. Let me know in the comment section below. Is Psycho Sid's finisher a jackknife powerbomb, or is it that slam that we're going to see right here now? A sort of like sit out front slam and this hook in the leg. With a glitchy fingers as well when he does that. Look at his fingers when he does it again this time. There's that big slam there by Kevin Nash. Almost it's not really a power slam. It's not really a power slam or a. I just realised that power slam is the same word for two names. Yeah, it's really interesting. Sorry, my phone's just buzzing away there. Get rid of that. Yeah, is this Sid's finisher? Or is it a jackknife powerbomb like I thought it was? Let me know in the comment section below if you do know. And maybe he's like other people and he just his finisher changed as he moved around and developed as a wrestler. So maybe it's both. Look how bloody big he is compared to the referee. And like I said, you can see Psycho Sid again on Saturday in our retro rosters. Saturday night main event. And here's our next match here this evening. It is going to be a Tag Team Championship #1 Contendership match as the Dudley Boyz, Bubba Ray and Devon, take on the Hardy Boyz, Matt and Jeff Hardy, for the right to face off against the world's greatest tag team at Backlash next Sunday. And here we go. We're going to start with Bubba Ray and Matt Hardy in the ring. And I'm not sure about Bubba Ray. Devon looks absolutely fantastic, but Bubba Ray, I'm just not 100% sure on his face. But there's just not a lot of very good Bubba Rays on the communications. There's a great Devon, but I think everyone seems to be struggling with Bubba at the moment. Of course, the Dudley Boyz are a team you will be able to see on the current day roster as well. I don't think we've debuted them on there as of yet, but I think maybe over the next few weeks they can definitely make an appearance. We don't have anyone in line as of yet to face off against the Ascension at the pay-per-view for the Tag Team Championships. I do have an idea of one thing that I want to do though at the pay-per-view, so I think we might have a look at doing that in the long run. But yeah, the Dudley Boyz will definitely debut pretty soon though. Maybe after Extreme Rules they could really be involved in the picture for the championship, or even in a feud as well, be pretty good. But like I said, for now they're going to be a pretty big part of our Attitude Era. Of course, we have the Dudley Boyz, we have Edge and Christian as well. We've got the Hardy Boyz. Edge and Christian might not get a lot of use at the moment, mainly because Edge is the current World Heavyweight Champion, but then again, that could all change at Backlash next Sunday, because of course Edge is going to have to face off against the winner of our match later on this evening between Sting and The Rock. And that is not going to be easy for Edge, no matter who wins that one. It's going to be a very, very difficult title defense for him. And of course, we're going to get Kurt Angle his first opportunity this evening as well. And I'm a bit disappointed myself, I forgot to use Kurt Angle in the championship tournaments. I completely forgot he was there. So he's going to get a chance tonight to get through and have a match for a championship at Backlash next week, and I think he deserves it. He's a fantastic wrestler, and I really think he's someone who's going to do pretty well here in this universe mode. Of course, we do have the world's greatest tag team down here as well, so Angle will align with them as well. A little bit of a mutual help, shall we say. And maybe we could do a pretty good feud between maybe Angle and Triple H, and we could involve the world's greatest tag team and the New Age Outlaws just to be part of the whole thing. That sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, I like that actually, because there's obviously we could have 6-man tags and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that sounds pretty good. Maybe that's what we could do. Well, it's all going to depend, isn't it, really, on if the world's greatest tag team can hold on to the tag team championships here. Maybe that's the way it could start. It could start off with a tag team championship match between the two, and then maybe Triple H gets involved to try and help the New Age Outlaws. Then Angle comes down and tries to help the world's greatest tag team, and then the whole feud develops into a 6-man tag, and then you get Angle versus Triple H at the pay-per-view and all that sort of stuff. Doesn't necessarily need the championships to be involved, but it probably would make more sense if the championships were involved. There's Matt Hardy now with a neck breaker, and I really like the new hair painting thing they've got in the creations here on WWE 2K16. It makes Jeff Hardy's hair look a lot better. There's quite a few as well people that it works on. It worked really well on Kenny Omega as well actually this year, because he's got his dark hair with his blonde highlights. Of course, he was always blonde, Kenny Omega, but he dyed his hair when he joined Bullet Club to sort of suit the gimmick a bit more, and it has definitely worked. I'm so glad that Kenny Omega joined Bullet Club. He really deserved to get that big break on an NJPW. And of course, he's getting our big break here in this Universe mode as well. Part of Ring of Honor and part of Global Force Wrestling here in our Universe mode. And there's about a few suggestions now to bring a women's division into Global Force Wrestling. And it is something that I do want to do at some point. Maybe I'll get the G1 Climax Festival out the way, which of course is going to be week number 1 of next month. We'll get that out the way, and then we might be able to lose a few of the male competitors from a couple of the rosters just to replace them with a few female ones, because of course at the moment I've used all 100 cores, so I'm struggling to create the space to bring anyone new in, especially bringing a whole new division. But I probably only really need to have maybe 4 permanent women on the roster, then we can just keep changing every month. We can probably just bring a couple extra in, and the next month we can get rid of them too, and then bring a couple different ones in. just to try and keep the whole thing flowing. But yeah, it's definitely something that I will do over the next month or so. I think we'll clear the space out and we will have a Global Force Wrestling Women's Division. Gonna have people like Sexy Star, Ivelisse, Candice LeRae, Melina, Thea Trinidad as well, Awesome Kong, and we can also use some of the TNA women as well, because basically Global Force Wrestling for me is basically everything that doesn't fit in any of a roster, and that includes TNA. So we've got the likes of Gail Kim. Gail Kim's an interesting one, because maybe Gail Kim, if we do get a hold of her, could work the Attitude Era as part of their women's division as well as Global Force Wrestling. So that's something that's probably going to help us out quite a lot by just spreading the space, because of course once we get the downloadable content, we get Trish Stratus and Lita, the Attitude Era will have a women's division as well. So great to see Trish Stratus and Lita on this game this year. Of course, we've already got Stephanie McMahon, who will be involved in the Attitude Era Women's Division as well, and we get Alundra Blaze as well with one of the downloadable content, so she'll be involved in that as well. So we'll have sort of 4 women on the game anyway. I probably want to download a couple extra for the Attitude Era, so I know there's a pretty good Victoria on there, so I might get Victoria. And if we get Gail Kim, like I said, Gail can work Global Force Wrestling and the Attitude, so that'll give us 6 female wrestlers for the Attitude Era. And if we try and get about 5 or 6 for Global Force Wrestling, well, that'd be pretty good. I like that idea. Of course, when Lita comes along, she will join along with the Hardy Boys. And I'm not quite sure what to do with Trish yet. I know Trish was she managed Test and Albert for a long time, but I was thinking of maybe having Trish manage the Dudley Boys, and that's why we could feud the whole lot together. Could have of course Trish and the Dudley Boys, Lita and the Hardy Boys, and that would be a pretty good sort of 6-person feud that we could do. Flapjack there by Bubba Ray Dudley on Matt Hardy on the outside. Brings him back up to his feet. Sends him back into the ring as well. And maybe at some point, like I said, the whole universe meant to be very, very fluid. There's going to be some people, don't get me wrong, there'll be some people that are completely fixed on the rosters. They'll always be there. But as time goes on, some people might disappear. Some people might come back. And yeah, the whole thing's going to be very fluid, of course. 100 calls is not enough, really. I know a lot of people are sat there now going, what, 100 calls not enough? But I've already filled it up. I've already deleted some people. I've already refilled it up. I've already brought some other people back in. And it's just been absolutely crazy. I could probably fill up 200 calls and we'd still be fighting for more space. Side effect by Matt Hardy on Bubba Ray Dudley. Goes in for the pin. 1, 2... And that's what I'm saying about some of the AI in tag team matches. I know it's probably set so that the partners only come in if it's very, very close to being a free count. But the situation where Matt Hardy uses his side effect finisher, I think they should come in straight away. Jeff Hardy was there to break that up. And yeah, maybe Bubba Ray Dudley should have brought Matt Hardy a bit further across the ring to go for the pin there as well. Good clubbing blow there by Bubba Ray Dudley, and you see Devon has taken Jeff out on the outside, and I wonder if we could use Jeff in this universe mode maybe a bit higher up the card at a later point. Of course, in the mid-2000s, Jeff did go on to challenge for the WWE Championships. Maybe that's what we could do here. Of course, Matt Hardy and Jeff are both going to be involved in Global Force Wrestling, since they're both involved in TNA, really. That's the idea behind that one. And of course, Matt Hardy is going to be involved in Ring of Honor, and probably at some point we'll do a feud which will introduce Jeff Hardy into Ring of Honor as well. But I've tried to keep the rosters as close as possible for Ring of Honor, at least, to real until we get into this universe mode. Then we can start to explain people like Jeff Hardy being there. Also want to try and bring Bobby Roode and James Storm into Global Force Wrestling at some point as well. Jeff Hardy launching Bubba Ray into that corner. We're going to see a little bit of a tag team maneuver there, but evidently not, as Jeff takes Bubba up onto the top rope. What is Jeff Hardy looking for here? Brings Bubba out, and there's a big spike DDT with Bubba draped across the top rope. Jeff rolls him over, into the pin he goes. 1, 2. Matt takes out Devon, but it was enough time for Bubba Ray to kick out. as I'm very, very close to falling off my computer chair once again. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to retrieve this situation. I'm slowly sliding down now, and it's not very good. Jeff with a whisper in the wind. But not going for a pin. I think the problem might be a few of these stamina sort of animations. It seems to be that when they use the stamina, it sort of just ruins their flow, and Jeff probably should have gone for the pin there, but didn't go for it as he was worried about his stamina sort of thing. And you see there, look again, Jeff was running towards that rope. I'm assuming he was going to run towards that rope, maybe on the top rope and look for a senton. But he stopped because he went through one of the stamina effects. Bubba Ray there with a snap suplex. And again, I think the likes of Bubba Ray and Jeff Hardy could be involved in the Global Championship picture over in Global Force Wrestling, but the only problem is that would put them... You'd have to have their stats strong for both that and the Attitude Era as well, so that might not work too well. Bubba with the pin now. Devon across the takeout. Matt Hardy, and there you go, the Dudley Boyz are going on to Backlash to face off against the world's greatest tag team for the Tag Team Championships. Yep, I fell off my chair. I'm back now. I'm back. I am back. I'm back on my chair. I'm hoping you didn't hear that really dodgy squeal I let out there as well. To see some of the highlights. It was a great match this actually between two of our strong teams here in this Attitude Era roster. Of course, there are a lot of strong teams this year on the roster. We've got a few new ones as well that we didn't have last year. Of course, we didn't really have the Hardy Boys last year on our Attitude. We had the Dudley. We didn't really do the Dudleys either, really. We had the Dudleys across in Combat Zone Wrestling, but we didn't bring them across to that Attitude Era until right at the end after Combat Zone Wrestling had finished. So it's great to see them here. The Hardys as well. They seem like two very simple tag teams that I can't believe we just missed out on. And be great next year. I'm assuming on 2K17 we will have the Dudley Boys as available characters since they are currently working for the WWE again. So that'd be pretty good to have. And that's what I like every single year. If the roster gets slightly bigger, that's less people need to download and more space to download other people. Such as a full female roster for Global Force Wrestling. Like I said, we will have a look at doing that over the next few weeks. I have got a few new cores actually for Ring of Honor. I got them after I recorded the Ring of Honor show, which wasn't too helpful, but they will be available, of course, for our Mystery Vortex pay-per-view this weekend. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. That will be uploaded on Sunday. Hopefully early Sunday morning. Like I said, I'm going to try and get all the shows uploaded for about 8 AM Greenwich Mean Time. So Mystery Vortex should be up Sunday morning. Our episode of Retro might be a little bit late than 8 AM on Saturday morning, but shouldn't be too much later really. And here is our next match this evening. It's going to be our second championship match of the evening as well. It's going to be a European Championship match as William Regal defends against Eddie Guerrero. And here we go. Like I said, we do have our entrances because it's a championship match. She's not talking, is she? No, I'll do it for her then. The following match is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the WWE European Championship. And here is your champion, not just your European champion, but your double champion, of course, because he currently holds the Intercontinental belt as well. So Regal is just unbeatable at the moment in this universe mode. Of course, there was a bit of a glitch at the European Championship tournament, which has led to this match. Eddie Guerrero, for some reason, got completely stuck and wasn't able to get back into the ring. Therefore, William Regal won by countout in the first round. And that's probably what led to him sort of saving as much energy as he could and taking as little damage as he possibly could into that second round match, which probably led to him getting far in and probably winning the whole competition. So this evening, Eddie Guerrero gets a little bit of retribution. He's going to get himself another opportunity here. Latino Heat. And there he is. Can Eddie Guerrero win the European Championship here? We get a little bit of a pyro going on. And Eddie's going to be someone we use quite a lot in this universe mode. Of course, he can be involved in the Cruiserweight picture, Intercontinental picture, European picture, and of course at some point we will be using him in the World Championship picture as well. No reason why not. We've got a lot of people involved in the top end of the rosters this year, but I think with having 2 major championships, we can really get through and use quite a lot of people. Whether Eddie will hold the championship is all in his hands, really. So this is going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match, and essentially that is going to be because of what happened in the European Championship tournament with Eddie Guerrero getting counted out. I did not want that to happen again, so here we are. Falls Count Anywhere match essentially means no disqualification as well, so both these guys are going to be right at home with that sort of stipulation. Regal with a pin straight away, of course only for a 1 count on Eddie Guerrero this early in the match. And remember, we still have 2 big matches for you left after this one as well, as Sting takes on The Rock in a World Heavyweight Championship #1 Contendership match. And then of course it's Goldberg, Angle, Austin and The Undertaker for the chance to face off against Batista at Backlash next week for the WWE Championship. Of course next week we will have to crown #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe Cruiserweight Championship as well. We'll have to have a look. I'm not entirely sure what a card is going to look like yet for Backlash. We'll have to start planning that out soon. We are going to have a pre-show as well. Should be sure to keep an eye out for that. Essentially, it's just going to be a short video. We'll just be talking about what's going to happen on the main video. And of course, we'll have probably 3 matches as well. Just to... main reason I want to do these pre-shows is not just to build up to the big pay-per-views, but also with a roster the size we've got here on this Attitude Era universe mode and the current day as well. It's just good to be able to use a bit more. Of course, the matches on the pre-show are probably not going to be as good, maybe, as the matches on the main show. The matches on the main show are going to be the ones that we're built up towards. The matches on the pre-show might be a little bit random, but it'll be a chance for us to use some of the guys that have not had a chance of yet. So yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for that. We are going to... I don't know if we'll have championship matches on there, because obviously I'm going to have to do the pre-shows via exhibition matches, and I'm not quite sure I want to do championship matches. I might start doing them. Of course, in the Attitude Era we currently have 7 belts, so we might have to start doing championship matches on the pre-shows. It's not a major problem. Not a major problem. Maybe that's where the Sandman can get his opportunity to get his Hardcore Championship back against Sabu on our pre-show for Backlash next week. That's a definite possibility, as both guys grab some weaponry. Guerrero has the steps and drops the steps and allows Regal to set that table up. Are they going to use the table properly? Again, we've already seen it once this evening where the table has been used as we would like it to, and the fact that Regal set that table up makes me think that that's a possibility of something they do want to do. Guerrero again underneath the ring looking for some weaponry. He's pulled out a ladder now. These guys have got a table, they've got a ladder, they've got some ring steps. And I thought that table just broke there. But it's Guerrero just swinging that ladder at William Regal. And of course, the referee's... What's the referee doing? What is the referee doing looking under the ring? I thought he was going to pull a weapon out then. Of course, Regal will have to defend his Intercontinental Championship at Backlash. Like I said, not sure yet who's going to be involved in that one. That's something we'll have to plan out next week. Maybe a 6-man battle royal or something along them sort of lines. As Regal, the Regalplex on the outside. 1, 2. Oh, and Guerrero manages to slip free. That could have been dangerous, that one. Regal throwing Guerrero back into the ring. And a big boot to the side of the head of Guerrero as well. Regal now lining Eddie Guerrero up. What does he have planned? The referee's got in the middle. That's not really helping. Regal with that big running knee. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. And again, Guerrero kicks out. Regal cannot believe it. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, Regal for me, one of the most underrated wrestlers that has ever graced the WWE ring. But one thing we will be doing is we'll be using him a lot more. Of course, you will be seeing Regal all the time in Attitude Era. Lord Steven Regal's going to be down the retro roster. And be sure to keep an eye out for Regal maybe popping up on other rosters. Of course, Regal, as the general manager of NXT, may need to take matters into his own hands at some point. You never know. And of course, Regal current day roster is also a possibility. So, like I said, I'm not going to give out too many details, but just keep an eye out for Regal. He's going to be a big mover and shaker in this universe mode. But at the moment, obviously holding on to 2 championships and struggling to hold on to that baseball bat. Yeah, at the moment he's sort of tied up quite a lot at the moment. But is he going to have 2 championships by the end of this one? But by the looks of Eddie Guerrero, it probably looks like Regal will definitely have 2 championships. Regal's hit Guerrero with a couple of big moves so far, and now Guerrero's obviously busted open as well. Guerrero with that big right hand to the side of the stomach of Regal. Regal, great arm drag, bringing Guerrero around. Guerrero trying to get back into this one. Went for a running power slam, but Regal slips off the back and hits him with a Russian leg sweep. Not only a Russian leg sweep, but Guerrero's head hit that middle rope. 1, 2. It's still only a 2 count. Regal can't believe it. Went to headbutt the back of Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero caught him with that back elbow. Eddie with that reverse DDT. And what a fantastic championship match this has been so far. Will Guerrero be able to take that European Championship away from Regal? Guerrero taking Regal up. Sit out powerbomb. Big move there. Guerrero struggling, as he would be. He's lost a lot of blood so far. He's been bleeding for a while in this match now. There's that neck breaker. Guerrero's going up top. Are we going to see a frog splash maybe? No, he went for the leg drop instead. Guerrero with the leg drop. Hands on hips. What's he going to go for now? I wonder if Guerrero is probably set to bleed more often. I know you can weaken certain people's body parts, can't you? So, like Ric Flair's head has got to be like a 1, surely, Ric Flair's head. You just got to look at Ric Flair hard enough and he'll bust open and start bleeding, won't he? Great submission hold here by Regal. As we've seen, submissions are not fantastic on this game. Not AI versus AI anyway. I'm not quite sure. What they're like. Human versus AI. Like I said, I've not really played this game at all as yet. Great dropkick by Guerrero. He needs to catch Regal with a big, impactful frog splash. That's what he needs. Guerrero with the elbow drop. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. Oh, I thought he'd done it. Evidently not, though. Is that baseball bat floating over there? It looks like it is, you know. Guerrero catches Regal. Are we going to see the three amigos? There's one. The second vertical suplex, rolling the hips once again. And there is a third vertical suplex. Guerrero goes to the pin. This could be all, you know. 1, 2, and 3. Eddie Guerrero's your new European champion. 2 championship matches this evening and 2 brand new champions. What an episode this has been of Friday Night Raw is War. And we still have 2 massive matches yet to come up for you as well. As we see some of the moves, this is the Regal Plex on the outside, and this could have been a very quick end to the match, really. In for the pin he goes, but that was only enough for a 2 count. Guerrero managed to slide out. Regal there reversing that belly-to-belly suplex. There was a Russian leg sweep there as well, and his head caught the back of the mat. The back of the back of his head caught the ropes, what I was trying to say. And here is the three amigos. And that's what really finished him off. What a great win here for Eddie Guerrero, winning the European Championship on this first episode of Friday Night Raw is War. Of course, you probably have to go on to defend it now, a Backlash maybe. I don't think Regal's going to get a rematch though at Backlash. Remember, Regal is going to be involved with defending his Intercontinental Championship at Backlash, so he's going to be tied up as it is. And here is our next match here this evening. It is the #1 contendership match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be Sting versus The Rock. And here we go. Two guys I don't think have ever clashed in the ring before. So it's going to be very great to actually see this for the first time ever. Sting versus The Rock. Of course, the winner of this one will go on to face Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash next weekend. Of course, I might have a little bit of help next weekend as well. That's the plan anyway. I've got a friend coming up next weekend, and we're looking to do a little bit of dual commentary. So that's going to be interesting. Looking forward to that. And a big pay-per-view to go ahead with that as well. Of course, our first Backlash pay-per-view. I'm going to try and get as much record as we possibly can. I'm not quite sure we'll get all the way to NXT maybe, but there you go. I was saying that I'm going to do a lot of... yeah, I might be wrong actually. I'm going to do a lot of this week's recording, or next week's recording, sorry, this weekend, to hopefully try and get ahead of myself. So next weekend, we'll be doing a lot of next week's, week after's recording. So that means we'll probably be doing a lot of the dual commentary up and towards our first NXT pay-per-view, which of course is going to be TakeOver Arrival. I picked TakeOver Arrival because essentially we are arriving on the WWE 2K16 Universe mode. It's going to be our first pay-per-view for NXT. Of course, NXT is a brand new brand for me this year. They've replaced our Combat Zone Wrestling brand from last year, and let's hope they can live up to the high expectation. So far, we've got a couple of really good matches lined up for that pay-per-view. We know it's going to be Jason Jordan and Chad Gable taking on Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy for the Tag Team Championships. We know that Tyler Breeze will defend his newly won television championship against the former champion Solomon Crowe, and of course we know it is going to be the NXT champion Hideo Itami defending the belt against Cesaro. Everything else is sort of up in the air at the moment, but I'm sure we can make some more matches as we go along. Oh no, we do know a couple of our matches, sorry, don't we? We know that it's going to be, I think it's Nia Jax taking on Bayley for the Women's Championship. And as suggested to me yesterday, I can't remember who it was. Who was it? I'm just clicking away, see if I can find what it was. It may have been that one there. Yes, it was Ain't It Great. Ain't It Great suggested that we do go ahead and have Sasha Banks versus Asuka at TakeOver, so we'll definitely be doing that as well. Like I said, the pay-per-view is going to be a little bit more special than normal weekly shows. Of course, we're going to have all the entrances for all the matches to make it feel a bit more special. I might also reduce the momentum down for some of the matches. Because the pay-per-views are generally recorded over a weekend, I do have a lot more time to play around with, so yeah, we should be able to make some really good pay-per-views this year. Like I said, big pay-per-view main events, we might drop them down to like slow momentum just to try and get a nice long match and really enjoy ourselves as we go through that. I'm expecting our pay-per-views to be close to 2 hours long. Let's just say that. If our normal weekly shows are getting up to, I think our first weekly show at WWE current day was about 1 hour and 45 minutes long. I think it took me about 3 hours to record, and I did that on the Sunday, and that was, oh god, I was knackered, I tell you, after that. After doing the editing as well, it was a long old day, that was. The Rock now bringing Sting back up to his feet. Big knee to the face by The Rock. And you know what? I'm so looking forward to getting to the Royal Rumble this year. I'm also half tempted to maybe do a Royal Rumble on one of our other rosters, maybe like Global Force or maybe Bitty Bob. What's the other one called? Ring of Honor, that's what I'm on about, yeah. I'm tempted. I know that Lucha Underground did like a 30-man, was it 30-man or was it like a 10-man to crown their first champion, didn't they? They did like an hour-long show and everyone came in and did that. So maybe we could do something along them. I can't remember what it's called, like the Gauntlet of the Gold or something along them sort of lines. Or it was Aztec Warfare. Well, Aztec Warfare. Maybe we could do that as one of our little extra shows. We could do Aztec Warfare, and it would just literally be, oh, you can't do it, can you? Oh god, 2K fix it. I was gonna say we could do Aztec Warfare and have a Royal Rumble in the Lucha Underground arena, but you can't. You can't have Royal Rumbles in any arenas apart from the Royal Rumble, which is really disappointing. I'll have to double. I've not actually checked that for myself, but it was something that wasn't in force last year on 2K15, and from what I've read in some of the forums, that's still something that happens this year. Elimination Chamber matches only can happen at Elimination Chamber arenas, and of course, Royal Rumble matches can only take place at Royal Rumble arenas. We did try and use a 10-man Royal Rumble last year on 2K15 to crown our #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, and bearing in mind it's on Raw, and the Raw show has its arena set already to Monday Night Raw, as it does its Universe mode, you set your arenas. Yet when it actually came round to that match, in the middle of a normal show, we went from one match into that match straight away, and it was in the Royal Rumble arena, which I just could not believe. It's so frustrating. And it's going to be the same way for our Royal Rumbles in January as well. Of course, it's not going to be a problem for main event, it's not going to be a problem for obviously the current day roster. That's just going to look perfectly normal. But when we get into our Attitude Era and our Retro roster, for example, all the pay-per-views are going to take place in one arena. Then it's going to have to switch to the current day Royal Rumble arena just to have the Rumble match. That's a little bit disappointing. We could still definitely do that match in Global Force Wrestling, but of course we'd have to use a Royal Rumble arena. So it's really up to you guys what you want to see. If you're happy to see that, then we could definitely do that. Call it Aztec Warfare. It's just, I'll see if I can do a little bit of jiggery poker and see if I can change it, but I'm pretty sure you can't. I'm pretty sure Royal Rumble matches have to take place in the Royal Rumble arena. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I might do it. I might upload a Royal Rumble at the weekend just as a random match because of how much I want to do a Royal Rumble. I might just do one. I think they've taken away the 40-man Royal Rumbles this year as well, so you can only have 10, 20 or 30, which is a bit of a shame. I used to like doing the 40-man ones, especially when our rosters are the size they are now. It's we've got the space to do a 40-man Rumble, so why not use that space? But there you go. Yeah, I might do that. If I get enough time over this weekend, I might upload a random match as a Royal Rumble. Got a lot of recording to this weekend anyway. I'm going to try and get all of next week's episodes recorded over this weekend. Going to try and get 7 random matches recorded over this weekend as well. And then get a bit onto Fallout 4 as well, because I want to try and, like I said earlier on a few of my videos earlier this week, I want to try and get to a point next week where I can upload an episode of this for you, a random match, and an episode of Fallout 4 every single day of the week. And that's my plan anyway. As Rock goes in for a pin. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. The Rock was nearly going on to face Edge then at Backlash next weekend. But Sting is still in this one. Can Sting pull this one out? Rock slides around the back and catches Sting with that clubbing blow. Russian leg sweep by The Rock. The Rock is lining up. Sting, this could be the beginning of the end for Sting. Rock in. There it is, the rock bottom. Rock in with a pin. 1, 2. And no, Sting kicks out of the rock bottom. Wow. Rocky can't believe it. I don't blame him. I can't believe it either. I thought that was guaranteed there for the Rock after hitting that rock bottom. What's he going to have to do to finish? Oh, he's lining Sting up again. Is he going to go for another one here? He does. There's the second rock bottom, and surely Sting's not kicking out of that one. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2, and 3. There you go. The Rock is going on to Backlash to face off against Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. You see just a few of the highlights earlier on this evening. Sting throwing the Rock into that corner face first, and then follows up with a very, very short Stinger splash, but still effective nonetheless. In for the pin he went, and that was of course only enough for a 2 count. This was a belly-to-belly slam by The Rock. Not necessarily one of the biggest highlights of the match, but there you go. Saying that, the replays are definitely better on this game than they were on 2K15. 2K15's replays were awful. You used to see all of the really stupid... You used to see a hip toss every single time. You always made sure you got a hip toss as a replay. Is this the first of the rock bottoms here on Sting? It was. Of course, that was only enough to get the 2 count for The Rock. But then he lined him up straight away once again for another rock bottom. And if The Rock can pull out 2 of these against Edge on next Sunday, we're definitely going to have a brand new World Heavyweight Champion. There it was with the rock bottom. And in for the pin he goes. For the 1, the 2, and the 3. So like I said, The Rock is going on to face off against Edge next week at Backlash for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm thinking next week we can do some sort of tag team match for our main event. Maybe the champions versus the challengers, or we'll see. Let's see who wins our main event here this evening. I'm thinking champions versus challengers sounds good though. So that'll be Edge and Batista versus The Rock, and the winner of our big Fatal 4-Way main event, which is coming up next. And here is our main event. As promised, it's going to be a Fatal 4-Way match. The winner of this will go on to face Batista at Backlash for the WWE Championship. It's The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and of course Goldberg. And here we go. And I think Fatal 4-Way is a format I'm definitely going to use a lot more of this year. Like I said, I think they've really improved it this year. Just by doing that, which you saw Austin... Is that Austin out there? It is Austin. Is that Austin or is that Goldberg? That's Austin. Austin's wearing a wrist pad. I've not seen Austin wear a wrist pad before. There you go. Yeah, so it's really... I really like it because of what just happened over this. You can see the Goldberg and Austin now fighting on the outside. It just splits the match up a little bit, and it allows the matches to flow a bit better, which I think is better. And it really reduces the chances of dodgy finishes in the matches, which of course is fantastic. That's what we like to see. No more dodgy finishes. And like I said, I want to try and mix the championships a little bit. I know when I did the championship tournament, I sort of almost stuck to having the WWE Championship as more sort of WWF guys such as Rock, Austin, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, them sort of guys, and the World Heavyweight Championship I had as more of the WCW side of guys, but also some of the guys that worked in SmackDown that held that championship, such as Edge and JBL. But what I want to try and do is, as we go through this universe mode, we're just going to mix it all up. We don't want to have people set to certain world championships. Everyone's going to be able to go for anything, which would be pretty good. And be interesting what we do at Royal Rumble. I think we might do the winner of the Rumble can pick who they want to face off against at WrestleMania. That's probably going to be the best way of doing it. And then the other match we will obviously do ourselves. Of course, our pay-per-view for February, sorry, is going to be... I can't remember talking about pay-per-views in February already. But our pay-per-view in February for the Attitude Era is going to be Elimination Chamber. Or is it? No, I think it's No Way Out. But I don't know if we'll have an Elimination Chamber. I might have an Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out. To decide the... maybe the #1 contender for the other championship. Of course, we are going to have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view at some point here on this 2K16 universe mode. But it's probably not going to be a pay-per-view as such. It's going to be like a random extra upload for you guys. So probably... because the pay-per-views for Attitude Era are going to be every second week of the month, maybe we have the fourth week of one month, we can just upload Elimination Chamber. I think the fourth week of another month, we can upload our King of the Ring pay-per-view, of course. So there's a lot of things we can really do actually on the Attitude Era that we can do as like extra little shows. Like I've said before, same sort of thing as we're going to do with the current day roster, maybe like a Japanese tour and an English tour and all that sort of stuff. I'm sort of thinking of doing SummerSlam in the UK. No, I think I might do that with the Retro roster actually. SummerSlam in the UK, and then try and have Bret Hart versus British Bulldog maybe as the main event. As that big SummerSlam. I think it was a 96 SummerSlam. So that's sort of what I've got in mind for that. But like I said, we'll have lots of random sort of shows. But I think it's going to very much depend on me getting ahead with these shows first. Once I start getting ahead and get a few recordings in the bank, and then I've got a bit of time to sort of think about it and do an extra couple of shows here and there. Because I'm going to try and get as much in the bank as I possibly can now in this game, just to really, yeah, like I said, really be able to sort of sit back and do some extra shows. Like I said, with our first Global Force Wrestling pay-per-view, which is going to be in 4 weeks' time, that's going to be a full week long. That's going to be an episode every day, Monday through till Sunday. That's going to be a lot of work for me, so hopefully, like I said, I can get ahead with it all as Taker launches Goldberg up and catches him in that tombstone pile driver. Angle sending Austin over the top rope. Angle has his back to what's going on, but does notice and comes across and breaks it up. Taker was nearly the #1 contender then, and can you imagine Taker versus Batista, our first pay-per-view? That would be immense. Of course, Undertaker versus Batista was a very, very good feud that did happen in the SmackDown era. And it's something that we could definitely do here again. I'd be inclined to maybe make it a Hell in the Cell match. Of course, Hell in the Cell does work a little bit better this year. I don't think it's still... I've only done one actually so far, but I don't think it works perfectly how we'd like it to. I think I'd like them to try and like break out the cell themselves and do all that sort of thing. But like I said, I've only recorded one so far, and that was one of our random matches, Triple H versus Cactus Jack. So maybe we can do a few more. Maybe I could do Undertaker versus Mankind, and of course Undertaker versus Triple H with... I'm not sure if you can do a special referee match as a Hell in a Cell, but if you can, then obviously Shawn Michaels will be in that. But I would be inclined to make a Undertaker versus Batista. Oh, but you see there, Austin with a stunner, but I think Goldberg saw it coming. Maybe not, as Goldberg slides outside the ring. Oh, and Goldberg has made a massive cock up there, and he's allowed Stone Cold Steve Austin to pick up the victory. Goldberg just didn't seem to know what was going on there, and Austin it is who picks up the victory, and Austin is going on to face off against Batista, our very first pay-per-view for the WWE Championship, and that's quite a good thing actually. I like that. Of course, Austin is the face of this game, and it'd be good that we can actually make him the face of this game by going for the championship. He's going to be the face of our first pay-per-view. So we now know our two main events for Backlash. We're going to see The Rock versus Edge for the we're going to see Rock versus Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship, and we're going to see Austin versus Batista for the WWE Championship. It's going to be a very good pay-per-view, we know that for sure. We know that it's also going to be the Dudley Boyz versus the world's greatest tag team for the Tag Team Championships. We know that Sabu will be defending his Hardcore Championship, probably on the pre-show. Eddie Guerrero will have to be defending his European Championship again, maybe on the pre-show. William Regal will be defending his Intercontinental Championship. Of course, we'll find out our #1 contender for that next week on Raw is War. As we will have to with the Cruiserweight Championship and things like that as well. We will be deciding who will be facing off and, of course, announcing it before that big Backlash pay-per-view. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stop blabbing on now. That is the end of this episode. I hope you've all enjoyed it. It's been a great start to our Attitude Era roster. Some great things to start off on. And, of course, our big first pay-per-view is next weekend. Like I said, Backlash. After that, then we can start with our first set of feuds, which is going to be pretty good as well. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got to say. If you have liked this video, then be sure to hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. And of course, subscribe for a hell of a lot more 2K16 footage. Like I said, we will be uploading some more random matches as of next week as well. I've sort of dropped the ball on that one, I know. It's just because obviously recording these episodes has taken a very long time. And yeah, I've not had much time to do it. But next week we'll definitely be uploading a random match every single day, as well as an episode of Fallout 4 as well. Well, I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Retro Roster's Saturday night main event.